Somewhere between the ground we walk on and the sky we admire lies the potential we overlook. On the edge of a dense forest where sunlight barely filtered through the canopy of trees lived a beetle named Karna. He was known for his relentless dedication to work. Every day, from dawn, he crawled across the forest floor carrying leaves, twigs, and small stones to build his home. The other beetles admired him for his perseverance, but Karna always felt that something was missing. He would look up at the birds in the sky, watching their graceful flights, and wonder, why can they fly, but I cannot? One day, while working, Karna stumbled upon an ancient moss-covered stone. As he cleaned it, he noticed inscriptions carved into its surface. The words were simple but profound. You already have everything you need to fulfill your Dharma. Just look within. Intrigued, Karna took the stone home and spent hours meditating on what it might mean. In the days that followed, Karna began to observe his own life more closely. He realized that, since he was young, he had always followed the example of the other beetles, crawling on the ground, carrying heavy loads, living a repetitive routine. No one had ever questioned it. After all, that's just how things are. But for the first time, Karna began to wonder, what if there's another way? One night, while all the other beetles slept, Karna decided to do something he had never tried before. He went to a clearing illuminated by moonlight and, trembling with fear and doubt, opened his wings. They were small, delicate, and he didn't know if they would work. But something inside him said, if you don't try, you'll never know. Karna took a hesitant leap. At first, he fell several times, hurting himself and growing frustrated. Each fall seemed to confirm what he had always believed. I wasn't born to fly. But still, he kept trying. With each attempt, he learned a little more about how to use his wings, how to balance his body, and how to trust the wind. Weeks passed, and Karna began to feel a subtle change within himself. He realized that although he still fell sometimes, he was starting to understand the rhythm of flight. He learned to feel the wind, adjust his wings, and trust himself. It was as if he were awakening to something that had always been there, waiting to be discovered. Finally, the night came when Karna felt he was ready. He climbed to the clearing again, under the silvery glow of the full moon. Taking a deep breath, he spread his wings and leapt. This time, something different happened. He felt the wind lift him, as if the entire forest was conspiring to help him. He flew, for real, for the first time. It wasn't a perfect flight, but it was enough to carry him above the treetops. From up there, Karna could see the entire forest, something he had never imagined possible. He saw the river winding between the trees, the distant mountains, and the vast starry sky. It was then that he understood. Wings are not just for flying. They are a reminder that we are capable of going beyond what we imagine. When he returned to the ground, Karna shared his experience with the other beetles. Many were incredulous, saying, "But we're made to crawl." Karna smiled and replied, "Maybe. But if we never try to open our wings, how will we know what we're truly capable of?" From that day on, Karna became a legend among the beetles. Though many still preferred to crawl, some began to look at their own wings with curiosity. And whenever Karna saw a hesitant beetle, he simply smiled and said, "The sky will always be waiting for you." This story of the beetle who learned to fly is much more than a fable about overcoming obstacles. It invites us to reflect on something profound and universal. How often do we live our lives crawling along familiar paths without realizing that we already have everything we need to soar higher? Our journey is often marked by automatic patterns, limiting beliefs, and unconscious decisions that keep us grounded. But what happens when we decide to look inward and question these patterns? This channel grows not only with stories and reflections, but with the actions of each of you. When you subscribe, when you like, the channel grows stronger, and the message that helped you can reach many other people who also need it. Make a difference now. Subscribe, leave a like, and be sure to check out the pinned comment for more resources that can transform your life. We have a free mini ebook on how to apply ancient practices. The metaphor of wings is powerful because it touches on something we all feel at some point in life: the sensation of being trapped, whether in monotonous routines, draining relationships, or unfulfilling careers. These invisible chains are created by ourselves, shaped by fears, doubts, and the weight of external expectations. However, just like Karna, we often discover that our greatest prison lies within our minds, in what we believe is possible or impossible. What Karna teaches us is that the first step toward change lies in making space for curiosity. He could have ignored the mysterious inscriptions on the stone, but instead, he chose to observe, reflect, and eventually act. This leads us to a simple yet transformative truth. The answers we seek are often already within us. We just need to pause and listen. When Karna decided to try flying, he didn't know if he would succeed, but his willingness to experiment was what led him to discover his true potential. And what if you also started questioning the stories you tell yourself? What if you allowed your own wings, your talents, passions, and dreams to emerge from the shadow of fear? This reflection may seem abstract, but it's deeply practical. Think of moments in your life when you felt like you were merely surviving, crawling along the ground of daily obligations. Now imagine that instead of accepting this as your only reality, you decided to do something different, even if small. I myself have been in the position of crawling. There were times when I felt completely stuck, unable to see solutions to the challenges I faced. One day, I decided to simply stop. I stopped chasing external solutions and began looking inward. It was like finding my own stone with mysterious inscriptions. There was no immediate answer, but that small gesture of inner attention planted a seed that, over time, blossomed into clarity and direction. And you? Have you ever stopped to think about the ancient stones in your life that might hold important messages? I ask you, how many opportunities have we let slip away because we were afraid to fail? How many times have we convinced ourselves that we're not made to fly? Karna could have given up after his first falls, but he kept trying. His persistence wasn't blind stubbornness, but rather a surrender to the process of learning. He understood that flying wasn't about perfection, but about trusting the natural flow of the wind. What if you applied this same wisdom to your life? What changes would be possible if you allowed your mistakes to be part of the learning process instead of proof of failure? Finally, I leave you with a poetic image. Imagine yourself as a seed buried in the soil. For a long time, you may have felt trapped, forgotten, invisible. But inside that hard shell lies a tree ready to sprout.